To say the past year was difficult is an understatement. COVID-19 turned our world upside down. Our city was already in the midst of a homelessness crisis. But amid the fear and uncertainty of a global pandemic, the need in our communities exploded. More people feeling the crush of poverty. More people struggling to put food on the table. More people without a safe place to call home. But in this past year, we also witnessed incredible resilience. We saw people who had lost everything begin to rebuild their lives. And we watched our frontline workers show up, day in, day out, to support them. Together, we faced our fears. We adapted to the circumstances, and we overcame the most challenging year of our lives. Throughout the pandemic, our shelters remained safely open. And in March 2021, the women's shelter moved into a newly renovated building called Fatima House, located at 1059 College Street.
This space is going to enhance the programs at Fred Victor because it's a newly renovated space where women can have their privacy. There is a shared space where they could learn life skills and join programming. We have embedded services here like health services, and we have harm reduction services and case management services. We're able to enhance the program with all these services so that the women get their needs met when they're here. I know it's temporary home, but for them and for people who don't have a home, this is home. So if they could come into a clean place, beautiful space with resources, in a beautiful community, it tells them a message. They are being treated with dignity, and they deserve to have a space like this to get back on their feet. And then, hopefully successfully we'll transition them into housing, and they will remain housed.
We also worked with the City of Toronto to open the Edward Village Hotel in North York. The hotel was one of several hotels repurposed to increase physical distancing in the shelter system and to provide space for people to move indoors from encampments. Through a partnership with The Works, the Edward Hotel provides an overdose prevention site, a critical service considering the opioid crisis that has claimed too many lives.
The Edward Village Hotel program is for people that are experiencing homelessness. We get referrals from the city, from Central Intake. We do take some walk-ins, but it is specifically for people that are experiencing homelessness, people that have been living in encampments, people that have lost their homes, people that have lost their jobs, not just throughout the pandemic, but even previously. So that is what the hotel program is for. There's one young woman in particular who recently came to us, and she was expecting. Had she stayed in the shelter system, she would not have been able to keep her baby with her. We were able to get her into a residence where she was able to have her baby and keep her baby. And today she does have her baby with her still.
A number of the city's meal programs closed due to the pandemic, which meant many people no longer had access to a free or inexpensive source of food. We delivered healthy food crates and grocery gift cards to 300 seniors and families so they could keep food on the table. And our meal services at 40 Oak Street and 145 Queen Street East adapted and grew to meet the increasing demand.
Like all of Toronto and the world, we had COVID-19 pandemic hit our doorstep. Since then, we've really had to shift our model of service to try to keep everyone safe, but also recognizing that food insecurity is going to go up and has gone up throughout this period as people's access to the food that they need is going down. Services are really being challenged at this time. So we've adapted our model to be as safe as possible while still providing the high level of high quality of food that we do here every day. So we've adapted to send our meals out the front door in takeaway containers, making sure folks are lined up properly, keeping our social distancing in place for folks that are around our property, and making sure that they're getting still the meals and the food that they need, which is extra important at this time.
In many ways, during this past year, ensuring that people had their basic needs met was our biggest success. We met the crisis head on. We adapted. We responded. We provided food, water and supplies to people living at the encampment in Moss Park. The drop-in at 145 Queen Street East made over 175,000 referrals so people could get health, income, or housing help. And through our transitional housing program at the same location, residents gained the stability needed to move on to permanent housing.
I support individuals with a history of homelessness, active substance use, and often co-occurring mental health diagnoses to gain the skills necessary for them to successfully maintain permanent housing once they move on from the program. In terms of success stories here in the transitional housing program, I see every individual that I work with as a success story. Especially if a person has been experiencing homelessness for a long time, coming into a space like this with intensive case management and a roof over their head, the amount of stability that can occur in a very short period of time is incredible.
Because of the heightened risk of outbreak among the homeless population, we developed and employed a comprehensive personal protective equipment policy and screening protocol. We hosted multiple COVID-19 testing events across our sites, and we worked hard to deliver a flow of information to our staff and clients that was current, accurate, and easy to access. When vaccines became available for vulnerable populations, we were among the first to set up pop-up clinics at every site we could. And with our community health partner, we led the way in opening a community vaccine clinic in Regent Park.
Unfortunately, homeless individuals are at a higher risk. I mean, when you think about it, just on a daily scenario, you have someone who is transient. You have someone who is resistant to accessing service. You have someone who is saying to you, I don't feel safe in some of the services that are being provided by homeless organizations. It means that they're not accessing health care. They're not ensuring that they have the education to protect themselves. And most homeless people are often in congregate settings.
All across the organization, our staff members have done extraordinary work in the face of COVID-19. Our employment and training services delivered more than 50 different workshops virtually, covering topics such as life skills, computer training, and career exploration. Our Steps to Success program found creative ways to engage children and youth. And in spite of lockdowns and restrictions, our Housing Access and Support Services team helped to move 137 people from homelessness to permanent housing. As we look to the year ahead, hopeful we can put the pandemic behind us, we are emerging a stronger and more resilient organization. So much of this was possible because of our dedicated supporters and our committed partners. To those who stood by us this past year, we say thank you. Please, stay committed to what you believe in. Together, we can end homelessness in Toronto.